I'm gonna make this video about my science fiction on a Blu Ray collection. So, just recently bought this one. 2010, the year we made contact. Sorry about that glare. Yes, I know I have 2010, but I don't have 2001. Incredible. I have seen both movies, of course, even though this one, I don't think I've seen it ever since it first came out in the 80s. So, I'll be looking forward to giving it a rewatch. Alright. And then we have my Alien box set here. Of course, I showed this in my horror on Blu Ray collection, but I think, of course, they are both science fiction and horror. This includes all 4 movies of the Alien quadrilogy. Tons of special features. Really nice box set. Comes inside this really nice booklet, which is, well, not really a booklet, it's a book with these hardcover pages in which the discs are stored. Great pictures, great design in this box set. Really one of my favorite box sets. Alien 3. Okay, we had here Aliens. Of course, the first one is the best one. Everybody knows. I do enjoy all of them. And, you know, I do say that. I do enjoy all of them. I liked Alien 3. That was pretty good. And I really liked Alien Resurrection, which I think has really some really good moments. And took the franchise, you know, each one of the movies has a different tone to them. And which I think is cool and unusual in a movie series. Here we see that it has not one but 2 discs of special features. I have not yet watched them all. You know, there's like a ton of stuff here. Highly recommended box set. Moving right along. Back to the Future. Of course, you'll see many of these with Spanish titles. That's because I live in Mexico, and that's where I bought most of these. And this one was in fact given to me for free when I renewed my membership at Blockbuster Video, back when Blockbuster used to still exist. And of course, I have seen it. I like the movie. For many, this is a sentimental favorite. To me, not that much. I think it's a good movie. You know, it's got its funny moments, but it's not something that is at the top of my list. And like I said, I got it for free. Blade Runner. Here we have the final cut. There's several cuts of this film. There are other box sets which have other cuts of the film. This is the final cut, whatever that means. And well, this is one of my favorites. It's a classic of science fiction, one of Ridley Scott's best. I think I would put the Alien as his best, and then Blade Runner. Great movie. A must-have in any science fiction fan collection. Then we've got the Brainstorm. Here, Natalie Wood's last movie. This movie predates much of the technology that we use today, such as virtual reality and the internet. The story revolves around the people recording their thought waves and then replaying them on a machine for other people like a tape recorder. All right. Directed by Douglas Trumbull, who is a special effects artist. Sorry about that glare. And I don't really know if he made any other movies, directed any other movies besides this one. But this is, well, a personal favorite of mine. I did see it when it first came out. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, of course, another classic, Steven Spielberg, one of his best. This one, in fact, I only saw completely until I bought this Blu Ray set, because I had seen it before several times on either on TV or whatever, you know, but only parts of it. Now I got the whole thing, and I'm glad to have it. And of course, it's a fantastic movie, great movie. It has 3 different cuts of the film. We have the theatrical cut, the special edition cut, and the director's cut. I have seen all 3 of them. And I think I prefer the theatrical cut. It's pretty good. Cube, again with a Spanish title, but this is Cube. Extremely low budget movie, but done with a lot of imagination. A really great story, and a very compelling story. You know, prove what you can do with a little money and a lot of imagination. I think they filmed this with like one set. It's really a movie that is hard to explain, about people trapped in this gigantic maze that is a cube, and it moves around. So all the rooms are always in different positions, and it tells their plight of how they try to get out of the cube. Really good movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Dark City, another one that this one predates The Matrix, and of course it has a lot of elements that would later be in The Matrix, like the elements of things existing only within your mind, or having your mind shape a reality. You know, don't want to give too much away. Check this one out. This is the director's cut of the film. Then we have Dune. It's well, one of my favorites. It is a bit hard to understand unless you've actually read the book. I have read the book, so I do like this movie. And David Lynch directed this one. Again, has its flaws, but some great visuals. An epic story. Check it out if you can. Fantastic Voyage. Well, what can you say? One of the early, I believe this one is 1966, and still holds up today. It's a very entertaining movie. One of my favorites. You know, people being shrunk down to size and being placed inside of a man in order to save his life by destroying this. I believe it was some sort of tumor growing inside his brain or something. So they go in there, try to fight it with a laser beam, you know. But there's also a traitor in the midst, so that makes it interesting. Ender's Game. I have read this book. I think it's a great book, and this is a very good adaptation. It is sometimes a bit overacted, you know. The actors are trying to get a little bit too intense at times, but still very entertaining. Great effects, great cast as well. Harrison Ford, Ben Kingsley. Flash Gordon. Now, I debated whether to put this in my science fiction collection or my fantasy collection, for which I will make a video later on. But I think because it deals with space travel, other planets, and all that stuff, it's kind of like a science fantasy, so I put it here. This one looks absolutely fantastic on Blu Ray. I mean, the colors just pop out at you like it's incredible. And of course, the story is just 100% fun. One of my absolute favorites. I keep saying that about all of them, I know. Alright, Forbidden Planet, another classic. I mean, what can you say? This is just like where science fiction came from, really. I mean, one of the very first really, really good early science fiction movies. Again, looks fantastic on Blu Ray. Gravity, and a very suspenseful film. I loved it. I mean, it just keeps up the suspense from beginning to the very, very end. A lot of people have some trouble with the science in this. I don't. You know, I think it's you just to take it for what it is and go along for the ride. Sandra Bullock does a great job in this movie. In Time. It's really just a vehicle here for Amanda Seyfried and Justin Timberlake. But even so, I think it has an interesting story, an interesting premise, with that sort of dystopian future that's very much in vogue nowadays, about people that have to buy time, literally, meaning having to buy their own lifespan an interesting concept. I think it's well done. Jupiter Rising. Well, see this one for Mila Kunis. She looks fantastic in it. The effects are really good. Sort of tries to go for the vibe of The Fifth Element, but it doesn't get there. I didn't really like this movie. I think it's just a lot of things that go nowhere. The story is a bit of a mess, but like I said, it's just more than anything, it just is. This is a visual spectacle. Logans Run. All right then. Well, very flawed movie, but with some interesting concepts. Again, a dystopian future where everybody lives an idyllic lifestyle until they are 30, when they are told they are renewed. But of course, that is not the case. So two people decide to rebel and run away. Michael York, Jenny Agutter, and Farrah Fawcett has a cameo appearance in this one. Really like this one. I have read the original book that is a bit different from this story. Lost in Space. Now, I was never really a fan of the original, so not because I don't like it, but because it was simply before my time, so I didn't really watch it. But I didn't very much enjoy this reboot, or can't really call it a remake. It's more of a reboot. They take it a bit more seriously, not as goofy as the TV series was. And it's got some interesting concepts, some great effects. I think it's very well made. Enjoyed it. And then we have Lucy, one of my favorite of recent years. Here, Luc Besson, the director of The Fifth Element, which I do not have on Blu Ray, nor on DVD. I have to get around to getting that one. And well, it's a theme that is not often explored in science fiction, which is the unlocking the mind's potential. Sometimes when we look at the future of mankind, we always look at the technology aspect, but not so much as how we may evolve mentally. So this one goes there, and does a really good job of it. Enjoyed it. Of course, Scarlett Johansson looks fantastic in this movie. Then we have Prometheus, and let me just say right off the bat, I do not like prequels because it's not giving you the main story. It's just like the appetizer to a story, and that's what this feels like. There's things going on, but it never reaches any sort of conclusion. What we really wanted here was the origin of the aliens, which we kind of get, but just at the very, very end, so it's very unsatisfying. I did enjoy this movie. I went to see it in the movie theater, I think twice, but it just could have been so much more. And Star Trek the Motion Picture. All right then, here a very, very unpopular opinion I'm going to give. This is my favorite Star Trek film. I know everybody says that this one is slow moving, boring as hell, that the scenes go on forever. Maybe, well, they do, but even so, I enjoyed it. I think it has that sense of wonder that many modern science fiction films lack. It looks great, the effects are great, the cast is just happy to be back, in the Star Trek universe. All of the actors were still young enough so that you could still buy that they're in this interstellar adventure. All right, and well, I do like it. And last but not least, we have Tron. This is the original Tron, and what can I say? Groundbreaking. When I first saw this, it just blew me away. I think like it did anybody who saw it for the first time. This is a really good movie. Still holds up. I know the technology of it. That virtual reality world that they live in has become, well, I'm not going to say outdated, but there's a quaint look back at how we used to look at the computer world. But even so, it still holds up. I really like it. I'm glad to have it on Blu-ray. Well, those are all my science fiction films on Blu-ray. I will do another video for my fantasy films, which I placed apart. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. So long.